of our sacral spine that we talk a lot about in our chair class, because that's where we're seated upon, those protuberance, those ischial tuberosities right there. And so you might just want to come over to one side, pull a little bit of that meat out, come over to the other side, pull a little of the meat out, and then find yourself nicely seated. And I'm towards the edge of the chair. I mean, enough of my sits bones on the chair that I'm not going anywhere, but I'm not up against the back of the chair. So my feet touch the ground when I'm like this. If yours do not, as Denise Coleman had mentioned the other day, because she has short, then use a block or something underneath. Toilet paper roll is also good. A pillow, anything, so that you can get this alignment starting. We've got our feet flat on the ground. They are parallel, then we come up to perpendicular with our shins, and then we come back to parallel here with our thighs, and then we come back up to perpendicular. We've got a little geometry lesson going on here. And then our head and the rest of us will line up, let the shoulders relax away from your earlobes, okay? And if you'd like, just close your eyes. We're gonna come into a couple of just simple breath practices. But first, just come into your own breath. Come into what a normal breath might be for you. And if your normal breath tends to come in and out through the mouth, and try to take it in and out through your nose. That might be just step one in working on the calming effect of breath. Because it's scientifically proven that when we breathe in and out through our mouth, we are in that fight or flight type of breath that's more anxiety producing. So trying to maintain that breath nice and even through the nose, in and out. And now there are times when we open our mouth and we express that air as a sigh. Nice long sigh of an exhale. Or there's different breaths that we do, pranayama, where the mouth might be open part of the time. But right now, let's settle into the calming effects of the breath. In and out of our nose. And just seeing where that breath lies right now. Don't need to take it deep down into your belly yet. Just nice, easy, soft breath. Now let's take a little bit of mindfulness into the breath. Let's take it to just our chest and clavicle area. It's going to be a little shorter breath than when we go deeper. A few more of those. Just controlling that breath. And now let's take it into this band right here. It's transverse abdominals that connect back to our back muscles. And let's take it here into the solar plexus area. You can even take your hands there if you'd like. So not going deep, deep, deep down here yet. We're going to stay here and here. Go ahead and breathe. Feel that happening for you. Still calming, still rhythmical. Just not quite as deep as it sometimes we take it. Two more like that, please. Good. And then let's move into that deeper belly breath. So taking your hands so that maybe your middle finger lines up to your navel. The other fingers spread out. And now let's take a longer, deeper breath where you're going to feel your hands expand. Take it down into the belly. Again, through the nose if possible, in and out. And that may take a little bit more work, a little bit more consciousness to take that breath deep down there. Stay with that breath Or if you want to expand even more, you're going to come down into even lower, below the belly button, into the sacral area, okay? So any of those places you can maintain a nice big breath. Let's take 3 of those, please. Feel where your body is moving with that breath. Good. And then wherever you like to rest your hands, or maybe on your thighs, we're going to take a 4-count breath coming in, taking it to whatever level you're able to, and a 5-count breath going out. Not holding at either end, but making that transition nice and smooth, okay? So go ahead and begin. Get lost in your breath. Count to yourself. Your breath might be 5 counts in and 5 out. It's not a contest to see who can have the longest spread of breath. Have it be what's right for you. And again, no holding in between. Sometimes we do. There's pranayama breath work that we work on that hold, but we're not right now. Take 2 more, please. Good. And so for all of us and any of us that spoke about what they're dealing with today, just that breath is good for the back. Just that breath is good for the sternum. Just that breath is good for our side body. Just that breath is good for if we're just perfect, okay? So keep that in mind as we continue to go. Let your hands come down. And just take simple little slides down the front legs of your chair, okay? Feeling this in your side body. Not a lot yet. And for some of you, staying really mindful of not going too far over, right? You're gonna kind of feel a little squeeze there on the side. And my hands aren't clasping onto the legs at this point, not needing leverage. I'm just taking this smooth move back and forth. And right now, so far, I've kept my head in alignment with my spine. Now I'm going to take myself over, let my head go too. Bring it back centered, take it over, let my head go. Feel that stretching in the side, and we're not whiplashing, okay? So again, slow breaths. Exhale, let that next side open. Inhale, come back to head centered. Exhale. No holding a breath, no quickening of breath. Finding ourselves just moving with our breath. Letting gravity help release in that neck into that 10-pound bowling ball that we carry on our shoulders. One more time each side. Good. And then coming up to sitting up straight, I'm going to hold on to the one side of the chair. You guys can just mirror me instead of me using left and right. I'm going to pull up one arm or just whichever side you like. And now I am going to either hold on, sliding down that side, stopping where it feels right for me, finding that length, pushing down into my feet, into my sits bones, maybe pulling that upper shoulder back, opening up my fingers wide, really expressing myself on the side there. Looking up, checking, make sure how my armpit smells right now, and then taking my gaze forward, and then taking my gaze down. Again, working into the neck just a little bit as we open up into the lateral part of our body. Gaze forward, let's come on back up, inhale. Exhaling, that hand comes down. Hold on to the other leg of the chair. Inhale, lifting, lengthening, slide on over. Push down with feet and sits bones. Moving back gently with that shoulder to open up my heart, which will open up my fingers and radiate out love. Radiate out a smile on my heart. And again, looking up, nose to bicep, looking towards you, you towards me, and then looking down towards the foot of my chair, bringing my head back into center, lifting up, inhale, lengthen, exhale, this hand comes slowly down. Now let's do that with breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale, floating. Inhale, lifting. Exhale. So keep going. Notice that the first time we did this, we held, right? And now we're moving with our breath. We didn't hold our breath before. We just held that side stretch. Now this is dynamic. We'll all be moving at a little different rate, depending on our own rhythm. And we figured that out at the beginning. One more time each side. This teaches patience too. Let's continue work on that lower spine and actually the whole spine, but the lower, especially when we're doing cat and cow. We get the upper when we're coming into cat. We open up the upper, then we open up the lower, and then we come into cow. We close those, okay? We bring them in. So let's go ahead and do that for a bit and feel your spine react to your movement and your breath. Inhale, heart comes forward, chest lifts. Exhale on your exhale, curling, tucking, rounding into cell. Engagement there. Inhale. And exhale. Keep going. Two more cycles. You guys have found your breath. Now hold on to it. Don't hold it, then hold on to it. Take it with you as you move. Or, better said, have your breath take you into movement. And when you come forward, except for Adrian, go ahead and hang. Or anyone else that might not want to come this low, about Lydia. But those of you that want to have a little bit more of a forward fold, go ahead and take it. Now, you are expanding through that lower back when you do this, okay? I want you to also now contract into your lower belly. Feel that band wrap around there, okay? This is where you want to have strength so you can protect that lower spine. And now I want you to come up from whatever angle you came down into a ragdoll coming up. And Lydia, that might be better for you to take straight spine so that you're not into that sternal area very much. lifting that chin up. Let's go ahead, arms up, inhale. And then take the legs out. Exhale into goddess. Inhale, arms rise. Legs come in. Lengthen. Exhale, legs out. Pull down, goddess. Good, you guys. Inhale, up. Bring those legs into. Every time you bring those legs out, we're opening up the abduction of the hips. Every time we come in, we're adducting, and we're also using core strength. Okay, because we're lifting and we're flowing here. It's easier for you to do set of arms first and then set of legs. You can do that, or you can take both out and express yourself in that way. We pull down on those arms, lift and lengthen that side body. 2 more, please. Staying here. Let's take our fingertips to right kind of behind the ears and take one elbow forward and one elbow back, coming into a bit of a twist. Some of us maybe more than others. Coming back forward, inhale and exhale. Take it forward. Big inhale. Take it back. Big exhale. Try to make noise with your breath. That ujjayi breath. A bit of a constriction in the back of the throat. I'm not sure if you can hear mine. One more time each side. Coming back. Exhale, hands come down. Good, and let's take a few shoulder rolls. Going back. Maybe back a few more times and forward, because we're so used to having our shoulders going forward in our daily life. So it's okay to take a few more extra going back than we do forward. Let's take a few forward though. Maybe 4. Good. And up and down. Getting into the side body here too. Yeah, just feel that. That takes work actually to do that. And coming back into center. Taking my hands on top of my thighs. I'm going to slide my hands down just to half lift. Don't let your whole body and head go. Just half lift here. Straight spine, looking straight down. Legs, feet engaged. Come on up. Inhale into a wide-legged seated. Exhale down. Look down, gaze down. Half lift. Bring yourself up. Exhale down. Keeping spine totally straight. Keeps the sternum straight. And these are really good for that lower spine muscle as well. Okay, because we're using core. Remember the transverse abdominals that wrap around us like a corset, attaching to that QL, that quadriceps lumborum in the back, where a lot of us feel that tension. Exhale when we come into that flat spine. Inhale up. Let's do 2 more. Exhale forward. Inhale up. Exhale forward. Inhale up. Good. And taking a transition, just a couple breaths here. your legs like mine may be saying, wow, I don't know how much longer I can keep my knees out. So let's go ahead and let them fall in, come to the insides of your feet. And here we are, and I'm just going to kind of move and windshield wiper my knees just a little bit, coming into this internal rotation of our hips. That's the other thing. In life, we generally have a lot more external rotation than we do internal rotation, and they're both healthy and good for us. And it also depends on, what's going on with your sacral area. Do you have SI issues, sacral iliac issues? Do you have psoas issues, or all those other things that can happen in this area that's so complicated? And then coming back, let's go ahead and come to flat feet and legs open. I'm going to take my forearm onto one of my thighs. And this is where you can keep it right there on the forearm, on the thigh. If you have a block, it's a nice place to use it, right up against your foot. Don't need it. Go ahead and lift up here. And I'm going to come into cactus and then express myself out. Exhale. Inhale. Use your breath. That looks good, you guys. You're getting some good opening in between our ribs there, those intercostal muscles. That's going to help to relax into our back as well. One more stretch. Come back. Let your arm lengthen here. And now I'm going to scoop. I'm going to scoop around. And again, maybe my arm is on my thigh or on the block. And let's go around the opposite way. Finding your opening, your little circle, maybe your big circle, whatever feels right for you, but getting movement. And then up and over. One more time. Really take that into your length. And then inhale, lifting up. Exhale, and hand comes down. Take a couple breaths. And take those knees in again. And this time, come up onto the balls of your feet, knees in, and then come back, come onto your heels, knees in, and then just ride that back and forth on your feet with those pigeon toes, okay, toes in, heels out, and just engaging into the calf muscle there with a little bit of internal rotation. Good. And then I'm going to go ahead and open up my knees, and I'm going to go to the other side. So if you have a block, great. If not, that's okay as well. And let me just see if I can bring this back a little bit. I think I saw Matt trying to see my feet. I'm trying to give you guys that wider view. So I'm not sure if you're able to see my feet and my head. Don't want to cut off that either, although it really wouldn't matter. So if I scoot back, I think we're able to see everything a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and open up. My block is here, but you don't need it. I'm going to go ahead and take my forearm to begin with on that thigh, lift my other arm up straight, and then take it into the side angle. And take that into with some breath as well. And again, my hand can slide down onto that block. If I want a little more extension, it might help me open up my heart a little bit more by pulling back into that upper shoulder and breathing. Remember those rhythmic breaths we did at the beginning when all we were focused on is breathing? Try to do that now when you are holding a pose. Can you take a 4-count breath, nice and easy through your nose? A 4-count breath, exhaling through your nose. Can you come back into that peaceful, calming breath? And then let's extend and bring it back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, take it into cactus. Inhale. Your breath, a few more times, please. Oh, this movement is so good for our lymphatic system. Getting the lymph to move because it doesn't move with our heartbeat. Okay, 2 more. It moves because we move. And then letting that arm stay here. And keeping hand on the block or moving arm up. We're going to take those big circles. And maybe they're little circles, okay? Because maybe we don't want to get into that shoulder or that sternum too much, right? So pay attention to where your body is and what you need, okay? I'm starting to, I mean, I think I always have, but even more now. Let's go around the other way. I'm really paying attention and wanting people to pay attention to their body and their needs. This prenatal yoga training that I'm doing really accentuates that. When you have mamas in there that are just a few weeks pregnant to almost full term, and they're having all their different issues, right? And let's go ahead and lean over here. And then you have to modify and make those suggestions. And they're willing to do that because they know that they've been in this progression, this transition in their bodies. Go ahead and inhale up. We also need to be willing to do that. Let's walk our feet in so that our legs come together. We need to be willing to do that in the transitions that go on with our body. And they might be transitions that are going and coming, right? Or they may be staying with us. And there are things that we need to adjust accordingly. I'm going to leave one foot down. I'm going to go ahead and cross the other one over. If that is not available to you, then you cross anywhere down, all right? And we want to just, some of you, I know Lydia, you used to take that foot behind you if you can and want, you sure can, into kind of that double wrap there. And if any of you practice this eagle standing, you're welcome to do that because that's what we're going to do is eagle, right? And that would include balancing if you're going to stand, because you're going to stand on one foot and do this, right? But for now, before we even do that, let's just go ahead and squeeze and release, squeeze and release, squeezing into the pelvic girdle and releasing, squeezing into our glutes and releasing, okay? And trying to take that consciously. So we're just not squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. We're not just loose, 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 but we're toning that pelvic area. Okay? It's important for men. It's important for women. It's important for every single body. And 2 more. As I squeeze my hands is when I'm squeezing in here. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead, let my hands drop down, lift up, inhale. Now you can't see the top of my hands, but that's okay. I don't think you need to. Go ahead and cross. My right's coming under my left. Just depends. Whichever one you do is fine. Just do the opposite later. Go ahead and come up. Find your arms perpendicular to the ground and find your hands coming together. Feel that in your shoulder. And the more you do this, the more your shoulder is going to feel more pliable, more movable. But again, never going to a place, go ahead and take some circles, never going to a place that feels like that's too much, backing off, maybe taking arms just here onto shoulders, okay? Make some circles and then go around in the other way. Remember when you first did eagle and how maybe uncomfortable it was. And now how you're feeling like, oh, okay, I know eagle, I get it. And I know it's good for all my joints. And now I'm going to lift up my fingers high. And I'm going to bow down. Take my elbows to my knees. Let my head come down as well. Crow tuck and round. Maybe not into the sternum, though. Okay, Lydia, you know that. Inhale, lift. And then exhaling, chin to chest, maybe. Bring yourself up, big inhale. Take yourself over, exhale. And take yourself up. Exhale, releasing those arms. Fly like an eagle. Let's go up and let's go down. Keeping my legs crossed. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale, let's take it just to the side and let's go ahead and soar in this direction. Coming back up and let's soar in this direction. Rising up. Let's soar in this direction again, maybe taking it more of an angle. And come up and take it on over. Here we go, working into those obliques, which is going to help us in our abdominal area and in our lower spine. Bring your arms on down. And let's go ahead and release that leg. And let's just take a few little pitter patters here. And let's take bicycling one leg. We'll get to the other side in just a second, but let's just get that blood continuing to flow. We were in a bit of a bind there. Yeah, place that foot down and take the other one and make that little bicycle move. Single-footed bicycle move. You know, I rode my bike across the United States. Some people say, wow, that was pretty cool. But along my side, a lot of the time, there was a man who only had one leg that was riding his bike across the United States. And this man did triathlons and such. So, you know, that one-legged bicycle pumping that we just did, think about him doing that for 47 days. So, all right, so let's go ahead and switch out in the other leg. So go ahead and switch the other one. My right was over before, now it's my left, but if you are mirroring me, you want to do it the opposite. Find that, and again, if it's not here, it's down below. We're keeping our legs snug together wherever they are. If we're here, maybe some of you are even having that fancy ankle work and putting it behind the other ankle. And let's just squeeze. Squeezing in and releasing, kind of like little blinks. Okay, squeeze and just let go. And again, we're taking that into the glutes, into our quadriceps a little bit, into the core a little bit, into all the muscles in the pelvic girdle. And there's a lot of muscles there, ligaments, tendons, lots of blood flow there, lots of circulation going on there. Couple more blinks. Good. And then releasing. And let's go ahead, lift our arms up. And coming into eagle arms. Okay, so take the opposite arm underneath. So my left one is underneath now. And from here, I'm going to take a twist and look over my right shoulder, come back to center, take a little twist, look behind me over my left shoulder, come back to center. Repeating one side, and then the other. Good. And rising up, inhale. Take them on down, exhale. Rise up. Not going into bowing yet. We're still keeping a straight spine. We're just working the shoulder girdle up and down. And now rise up. And now come over, curling, tucking, rounding, getting that elbow to touch the knee. Bring yourself up on your in-breath. Take yourself down. And bring yourself up. Exhale down. Let your heavy head go. If you want, one more time up. Exhale down and stay in your curl and tuck and round just a bit. or not too far into it. Just find out what works for you. Let your head and neck go. That feels good. You can do that with a straight spine. It's not pressing into that sternal area. And then inhale, lifting. Exhale, release those arms. Let's fly. Inhale. Exhale. Bring it on up. Your breath, your pace, your rhythmic flight. And exhale. Taking it up one more time. Taking it in to soaring. Soar to one side, maybe come forward, soaring into the other side. Maybe come forward, taking it around, or just taking it over from one side to the other. Imagine that eagle and the gaze, such beautiful clarity and vision that they have. And what would it be that you would want to see if you were high in the sky and flying like an eagle? And then coming back, exhale, hands come on down. Let's release the legs and let's tap them out. Let's hold on to both of the legs of the chair, take myself back just a little bit. This is engagement in the core. This may be all you want to do, because I don't know about you guys, but I already feel it. I'm not all the way back, okay, in the chair. I got to hold myself, even though my hands are here helping, this whole band and going into the back is working as well. So staying here, or you can begin to just lift your feet off the ground to add a little bit. Do not need to. You're still getting something by just having your spine at an angle, and you don't want to take any place farther than it feels like you're working it in a good way. Okay. There we go. And then just coming up. And then we're going to just take our knees out just a little bit wider than your hips. I'm going to cross here and then bring my knees in and take my hands out. Bring my knees in, cross, and I'm doing the Charleston, okay? I don't know anybody here that would actually remember that, but we see it in movies, right? So here I am, and I come together, take my hands apart, and then bring them. So now I cross my hands, then I take them apart, and maybe try crossing the opposite one over each time you come into the center and cross out. Just a little coordination here, and we're taking the hips, externally rotating, internally rotating, okay? Again, because we don't get enough of that internal rotation in our lives. Let's do one more with one hand on the front, and then change it to the other side, and then come back, okay? And then let's sit up straight and tall. Let's take ourselves down one leg, slide your arm up to your armpit, look up, come on up, inhale, come on down, slide up, and bring yourself up. This is your inhale, right? This is your exhale. No rush, no worries, no wondering what everybody else is doing. This is when it's nice to close our eyes. Do one more each side, please. This is kind of one of those that I could just kind of keep doing. I never really realize the time. And then coming back up into straight, we're going to work on one warrior series here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn myself to the side. I'm going to have one leg over the side of the chair. The other one, I'm going to either place my shin on top of the block. Okay, so that my hips are more it all kind of lined up going in this direction, right? Yeah, and knee and ankle working in unison with one another, nice and aligned, and maybe here too. So if so, I'm gonna come back a little bit more. If you don't have a block, don't worry. You can just take the block away and you can take that leg out a bit and maybe press it down into an angle. So you're at a 45-degree angle with that foot. Same thing you would be doing if you were standing in Warrior One, all right? So if I came up, I'm in Warrior One, all right? My hips are forward, my knees forward, my knee is over my ankle, and I've got my foot in that position, but I'm gonna take it seated. If you wanna take it standing, you guys can do that, okay? Or again, you can bend it and place it on that block. Raise my arms up, inhale. Warrior One, okay? My hands are up here. I know you guys can't see them, but they're there. They're not doing anything else but this up there, okay? And so I'm here, and now I'm gonna take my arm of the leg that's either down on the block or extended, my outside arm. I'm gonna take it back to the chair behind me, okay? Just hold on there. And then just look up, lift through my heart, pressing down through my feet or into my shin on that block. And then releasing that hand from behind me, take it up. And then the hand closest to the inside of the chair is going to come back to the back of the chair. Look up, express my heart. And then releasing both arms up. Exhale, hands come into my heart center here, okay? And I'm going to twist towards you, taking my elbow onto my thigh. And so I'm going into kind of a prayerful Warrior One twist here. And again, your foot, your knee, your shin might be down on that block or it's extended behind you. All right, and we can look up, get a nice neck stretch. You can keep your neck in neutral. You can look down at your pretty toes on the ground there. And then we're gonna come up, take our shoulders and our hips back towards the front, release our hands, inhale, lift. Exhale, cactus, pull down, inhale, rise. 2 more times. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands come back into heart center, and then the hands down, and begin to take myself back around to the front. But before we make that transition to the other side, let's go ahead and take those flippy floppy legs a bit, okay? So windshield wiper legs. You can take them this way, you can take them in and out, but just something because we've had them in a certain position for a little bit, so let's just let them open up and do their thing, okay? And then I'm gonna switch to the other side. So doing the same thing there. If you had a block, you wanna use a block, you can use it. If you don't have a block, and you just put the knee down like that, you don't have to have a block, okay? You can just come into the ball of your foot, or you can extend that foot kind of out at an angle, 45 degree with the foot, and kind of out at an angle there, all right? And again, here I am. If I stood up, I'm standing in my Warrior One legs, pretty much. I might be a little bit wider, but that's okay. That's what we're doing here. Straight, bent, or somewhere in between. All right, here I am. Shoulders forward, hips forward, lengthening up, side body stretching. And then my arm that's on the outside away from the chair to that outside leg is going to come down to the chair behind me, push down to help me lengthen my spine. Look up, let my hand come back, looking up and exalting here in this Warrior One. Exalting, lifting my heart towards the heavens. And then that arm comes back, lifts up high. And I take the other arm behind me, hand down on the chair, other arm lifts, press down into feet or shin or whatever is grounded to the chair or the earth. Look up. And both arms come up, inhale. And exhale, hands come to heart. Take myself in a bit of a twist and take my elbow down to my thigh and take my hands at heart center here. And so I'm in this twisted warrior one. Hands at heart, looking up, look inside, looking down. Bringing myself back up and taking my arms, release them up. Exhale, cactus, heart releases. Maybe you want to take this breath out of your mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Rising up. Hands to heart center. And releasing. Taking myself back to the front. And from here, I'm going to do a little bit of pigeon pose. Now we did the pigeon legs, so I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about pigeon pose or figure four. And for some of us, it might be using a block. Others, it might not. So if you are someone who is able to take that ankle just behind your knee, you can do that. And you'll notice how high up this knee is or how low it might go. It depends on the opening here. If that doesn't work for you, you take it down to a block so that we still have an external rotation in our hip, okay? So find which of those works for you. And so it's a figure four is what we're creating here. And again, block or not, sitting up straight and tall and holding on to your foot or shin here, or maybe you're down below if it's on that block. And you should feel this right through here, okay? Back in this glute hip area. And I'm just going to take a few circles here, working into my hips, feeling that especially on that outer hip and reversing. Sitting up straight, tall, proud, and then bringing myself forward to wherever I am feeling like that is just enough in this back hip area. If you are not using the block for your foot, you could take that block on your hands. If you want to let your heavy head go down, flexing into your foot, you can feel that a little bit more into the hip there. Let yourself hang if that feels appropriate for you. Otherwise, flat spine. Foot is flexed. And then bringing yourself up. And let's take 4 circles with that ankle. And reverse. Good. And then let's go ahead and just do that other side. You should feel a little bit of sensitivity or warmth there in that glute and that hip. And then let's go for the other leg. And again, if you don't have a block, then just attach or take the block or take your leg up, right? Find that. Let's start this one with the ankle rotations. 4 in one direction and 4 in the other. You can hear my snap, crackle, popping. And just sitting up here, straight and tall. And let's go ahead and take those circles with our torso, feeling the shift and that movement in our pelvic region and going around in the other direction. And then holding on, maybe weighting down just a bit in that inner thigh, if you like, or bringing your weight forward. That's going to also bring into the weight, and you're going to feel that. Your arms can come over. You can keep that back nice and long and straight, or you can let your head go and melt down into that figure four. Melting into that side of your hip, feeling that, especially if you're keeping that upper leg flexed. Especially the more weight you bring forward. Breathe into that sensation. And then walking yourself up. Slowly bringing your body back up into straight here. And releasing down. Taking blocks away, finding yourself coming into a seated position where you feel like your sits bones are nicely planted. Ischial tuberosities, and that the rest of your body is nicely lined up like we started out, right? And that nice line, those lines of geometry there. Let your shoulders melt away from your ears. Let yourself come back into that 4-count breath in and out. Maybe it was 5 counts, maybe it was 3. In and out from your nose. Finding your calm. And when you're ready, your hands can cover your heart, or they can come into Anjali Mudra here. Breathing. So go forth today and count on your breath. Count on your breath to lead the way. Count on your breath to get you through some maybe challenging moments in your day. Take that breath deep, deep down when you need to use it to empower you up and through your transitions. So from my breath and my heart to yours,